Good evening. This is Eric Brown with MOBO-Media, MOBO-Media. Hey, I'm broadcasting to y'all from a unique location in the back of my home. In the backdrop here, you have the Texas Hill Country. But to get down to the nitty-gritty, I want to talk about something that took place here over the last 24 hours, and that was the horrific attack in Vancouver, Canada, British Columbia, where a gentleman took a vehicle and drove it through a crowd of Filipinos at a Filipino festival, Lapu-Lapu Filipino Festival. And I just want to share my thoughts on the aftermath and the impact, as a whole. The Filipino people are known to be very compassionate people. And these events typically are held to, share their culture and their way of life and, their really simplistic way of being with the rest of the world. And so I think it's always a tragedy when that's upended by something like this. So I first received notification last night that a driver had plowed through a crowd in Vancouver, Canada, and at a Filipino festival. And the first thing I thought of was like, wow, it doesn't even jive, because Filipinos are so compassionate. They're such good people, good, kind-hearted people, and for someone to inflict any sort of terror or harm on this, man, it doesn't ever. I can't even comprehend. I can't comprehend. So I was up pretty late last night watching the news events unfold as they were occurring, and all I could think about was, the Filipinos there enjoying their day, trying to, share their culture with the rest of the world and the Vancouver community, only to end up in tragedy as it did. Now, when I found out, from what I'm understanding, that this all occurred after the end of a music concert by a member of the Black Eyed Peas, or the group Black Eyed Peas, either or. But it was shortly after that this event took place, and so a lot of people were there, a lot of folks taking photos. They were pretty much wrapping up the event, and then all hell broke loose. So the initial footage I saw was just bodies strewn everywhere, body parts and people, and there was a lady on a video that said, hey, there's a baby over there. From what I understand, a baby lost its life, unfortunately. But man, it's all just a tragedy. It's just a tragedy. And for me, having spent so much time in the Philippines and being married to Filipino, and have a strong connection with the Philippines, it hurts. It hurts. It hurts because I know who they are, the type of people that they are, and they don't deserve this. So the gentleman was apprehended. Apparently he was driving like a black Audi SUV, just drove it down the street where all the food trucks and the vendors are, selling their wares and allowing people to try their different dishes. And gentleman just drove down, just at will, just running people down, mowing people down. No different than what happened, I believe, New Year's Eve in New Orleans, with the attack in New Orleans, where the gentleman drove the truck down the street. This one hit home a little different for me because I know the Filipino people again, and they just don't deserve this. Nobody deserves this, don't get me wrong. But for something to happen in the midst of an event where Filipinos are trying to really share their culture, their life experiences, and who they are with the rest of the world, I think it's just sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's unfortunate. They don't deserve it. But they'll get through it. Filipinos are strong. They're very strong people. They're a very tight-knit community. One of the other sad things about this whole situation is, from what I understand, the young, well, I don't want to say young, it was, I believe, a 30-year-old suspect who apparently drove the vehicle down the road. They said that he was a young Asian gentleman, and the only thing I could think of was, my goodness, please don't let it be a young Filipino guy, because, oh my goodness, it would just rip the hearts out of his parents. It would rip the hearts out of the Filipino people, because that's not something they do to their own. The impact is just so profound. It's just unspeakable. It's unspeakable. They said the gentleman had mental health issues. Law enforcement was very familiar with him. And it begs the question, did he get the adequate resources needed to deal with whatever he was dealing with? But at the end of the day, there are some families today without their loved ones. There are families today with loved ones in the hospital. There are people who are traumatized by what they saw, to include the law enforcement folks and the first responders. You don't expect something like that at an event where you're promoting happiness and good and togetherness and love. It's just not something that you expect to happen. But this is the world we live in today. This is the world we live in today. A lot of questions will be brought up about the road that the gentleman drove down, why they didn't have barriers up. There will be questions about the gentleman's mental health status, why he was allowed to roam free, around society with these type of issues. But I can tell you this as someone with a mental health background. It's not as easy as 1 + 1 is 1 and 2 + 2 is 4. With mental health, man, it's really hard oftentimes to figure out whether a person is capable of doing something horrific like this. So, you just have to treat it the best you can. And oftentimes it's based on what the individual is telling you. If this individual is not really presenting to you as someone who's evil and, dastardly, or whatever you want to call it, then it's going to be hard to pick it up. Any mental health professional is going to be hard to pick up. Oftentimes, mental health community gets slammed when there is a situation or a tragic event involving someone with mental health issues. But you can't just blame the mental health community. You've got to look at society as a whole. You got to look at society as a whole. I don't know what drove this man to do what he did, but you can't just say it was mental health, because something triggered the mental health. The mental health came from somewhere. Most folks are not born with mental health issues. I can tell you that. But just my background in mental health and just my experiences with dealing with folks afflicted with mental health illnesses and ailments, people are not born with it. It's picked up somewhere, oftentimes through trauma at a young age or through other means, but it's not something that's just come about on its own. Hey, with that, I'll let y'all go. Guess I failed to mention who I was. Eric Brown, MOBO-Media, YouTube channel, MOBO-Media. Please subscribe if you have not. I promise you, you will not be disappointed with the quality of content that I try to push out, which is always going to be on a positive note. I try to stay away from the politics and some of the other very controversial subjects. I think we beat a dead horse with those subjects. Let's talk about love. Let's talk about happiness. Let's talk about one people under God. Real talk. With that, I'll let y'all go. This is Eric Brown, MOBO-Media. Let's pray for the people of the Philippines. Let's pray for the community in Vancouver. And let's pray for ourselves. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.